Hi friends, this is Terry Squires with today's Nashville This is Faith. I sat down with Brooke Robertson and she shared her journey through sexual abuse and how God led her to forgive her abuser. You won't want to miss this episode. The Lord will get you through situations that seem impossible. Trust Him. With the release of her debut, Taking My Voice Back, country-infused pop singer-songwriter Brooke Robertson emerged as a talented musical storyteller whose songs have touched on a range of deep personal topics. Taking My Voice Back, which articulates Brooke's healing journey as a victim of childhood sexual abuse, has become a signature song for her and a lifeline of hope for others walking through similar circumstances. This is her story. This is today's Nashville. This is Faith. Brooke, thank you for sitting down with me today on today's Nashville. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so thankful.
I love your songs.
Thank you.
And they're really making an impact on others' lives.
It's been healing for me, and I get to share that with other people, and that's a blessing, such a blessing.
So tell me, are you living in Louisiana, is that correct?
Live in Southeast Louisiana. Yep. I haven't made the jump up here
yet. You haven't made the jump,
no.
but you're always back and forth to Nashville.
Yes, pretty often.
Tell me about your life. Tell me how you got into music, and we're going to talk about your journey. It's very powerful. And I think it's going to touch a lot of people's lives. But let's just talk about you growing up and your family in Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana. So I just lived like just a typical childhood. I, went to public school and I played basketball for many years. I was always into sports. Never was a really girly girl kind of girl. And even like rode horses and competed in barrel racing for many years, even through college. Yeah, so went to college and got a bachelor's in kinesiology, and I had no thoughts on music at all.
Really?
Yeah, like I sang on the worship team when I was a kid, from like maybe 11 to early 20s, but it was something that I never really thought I would do professionally, and I had never written songs before. Like, it was just something that I loved to do. Never thought I would do anything professional. And so I had my mind on college. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be an occupational therapist. I had a heart to help people who've been through trauma to get back to normal as possible. And God closed that door in 2016, couldn't get into colleges. And throughout that year, though, I was doing covers on YouTube and Facebook and all that. And
so were you singing at that point, or just kind of playing around with it?
At church.
At church?
Yep, just at church. Through that year, though, that last year of college, I was putting covers out. So I was kind of like entertaining it a little bit. Had friends that helped me do that. And so still in my mind, it was just for fun. And when God shut the doors for school, He like almost immediately opened the doors for music. And I had a manager reach out, wanted me to come up and write for the first time ever. And so I was like, this doesn't make sense, but okay, like, I don't have a plan B, and I'll just trust God. Like, I'm going to go and just see, right?
Well, were you a believer at an early age? Were you a church-going family? Or
yeah, I
tell
was
me about
always
that.
raised in church since I was a kid. Very grateful for that. It gave me the foundation to be able to walk through the things that I had to walk through as a little girl. When I was 10, I was sexually abused. And so to have the Lord really walk through with me those 15 years of silence where I didn't say anything, then opening the doors to music and giving me an opportunity to eventually share my story.
Let's go back to that time. Now, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother and an older sister.
Okay.
So I'm the middle.
So let's talk about that. Can we talk?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so when I was 10, I was sexually abused, and I went through like a 15-year period of quiet silence where I promised myself that I would go to the grave with this story. I convinced myself that I was okay and that I didn't need to say anything. And so for 15 years, I buried it under the rug, pretended like it didn't happen. I buried shame. I felt dirty. I felt alone. I felt scared. And as a 10-year-old girl, like, what do you do? You know, and for me, it was safer just to be quiet. And so I went to school, had a smile on my face. I was a straight A student. I didn't have the red flags they say to look for in a kid. I didn't have that because I hid it, and I hid it well. I got good at it. And so throughout that 15 years, God placed different people in my life that would show me, like, Brooke, you're not alone in this. And I could see that it was possible to find freedom, but I didn't quite know how to get there. And so fast forward 15 years later, God opens the door to music, and I'm sitting here praying, God, I don't feel good enough for this. There's so many other people who can sing and play guitar better than me. Like, why do you have me in the industry? And this story surfaced, and God was like, it's time. And he highlighted something in my life that I didn't realize, but I hadn't forgiven this person. And he's so gentle in that, you know. And so I just prayed. I was like, God, I don't even know what this is supposed to look like. You know, I don't even know where to start, because I've got to tell the whole world, but even scarier, like I have to tell my family what happened as a little girl. And so as I was praying and praying, I knew that I had to forgive this person. And for me, I reached out to my abuser, and I was just like, hey, this is where I'm at in life, and I want you to know that I forgive you, and Jesus loves you. And I can even tell you where I was in that moment, and just the feeling that I felt light again when I let unforgiveness go. And I went up, wrote this song called Taking My Voice Back, and it has been so healing for me even through these 4 years. God's just been putting his finger on things in my life, ideas and thought patterns that I've had that weren't him, and just showing that it was tied to trauma, and that he's wanting to heal me fully will I let him. And it all started with forgiveness, and it's been a beautiful journey.
How'd your family handle all of this?
It was really hard for my family. My dad probably took it the worst, and that was the hardest to tell my dad, because he's very protective, you know. And so I remember the day before I told him, I was so anxious and nervous. Wasn't sure even what to say and what questions he was gonna ask. And I just felt the Lord say, Brooke, let me walk in this conversation with you, with your dad. And so I went and told my dad, and he obviously was hurt, and we were crying together. And later that day, he said, Brooke, if you can forgive, then so can I. And that was the start. I was like, what is God doing? You know, like, he's gonna start in my family. He's gonna start showing me what this looks like through my family. And even like through my grandmother, like, she had shared that she had been abused as a child. And just seeing how God was working in my family, I just knew he was gonna use it even bigger than what I ever thought.
And your mom?
My mom was really heartbroken, and they were all really confused as to why I didn't say anything, but they understood that it was out of fear. And I always reassured them, if it wasn't for Jesus and y'all bringing me to church and going to youth camp and all the things, I don't think I'd be where I was. And so I thanked them for giving me that foundation, you know, very grateful for that.
The Lord is so good.
So good.
Tell me what the abuser said to you. Was it shocking?
Well, it was a conversation that they were very apologetic. They were receiving at first. And fast forward like a month before the record release, they reached back out and didn't want to call it abuse. And I guess they were afraid. And I remember those feelings flooding back in, and I kind of wanted to back out at that moment. I was like, there's no way I can do this, you know. And thank God for people in my life that have held me accountable, that have been able to be there, you know, with me through it, and just say, Brooke, the enemy's trying to keep you quiet still. You see what he's trying to do. And once I realized that, I'm like, you're right. Like, I'm going to move forward with this. And that's the best thing I could have ever done.
When we come back, we're going to listen to your song. Brooke, you were sharing with me that you forgave your abuser. You took your voice back. You wrote a song about it, Taking My Voice Back. Will you play it for me?
I would love that. Let me paint a picture of a 10-year-old girl that tried had to say no, had to hide from the world. Innocent but blameless, but carrying shame and telling herself she'd be okay. Gotta let go. Gotta let go. I'm taking my voice back. I'm writing my song, and nothing can stop me. I'm gonna move on, gonna learn to forgive you. You've taken enough. Though I feel alone here, I know that I'm right. I'm taking my voice back. So scared of the moments, trying to escape. Afraid if she told, she'd be the one to blame. She'd better keep quiet and bury the pain. Keep telling herself, oh, she'd be okay. Gotta let go. Gotta let go. I'm taking my voice back. I'm writing my song, and nothing can stop me. I'm gonna move on, gonna learn to forgive you. You've taken enough. Though I feel alone here, I know that I'm right. I'm taking my voice back. Whoa, I'm taking my voice back. Whoa. There's freedom on the other side, freedom from the pain you hide. Oh, there's freedom when you let it out. Tell your story, tell it now. Oh, even though the memory still hurts, this song is for the other little girls. You're taking your voice back, you're writing your song, and nothing can stop you. You're gonna move on, gonna learn to forgive them. They've taken enough. Though you feel alone here, just know that you're not. I'm taking my voice back. I'm writing my song, and nothing can stop me. I'm gonna move on, gonna learn to forgive you. You've taken enough. Though I feel alone here, I know that I'm right. Oh, I'm taking my voice back. You're taking your voice back.
Brooke, it's beautiful. It's powerful.
Thank you so much.
I love that you're talking to the little girls.
Yeah.
What would you say to them now?
If I had talked to little Brooke, I would tell her it's gonna be okay. God's gonna use this pain for good one day, somehow. And I can tell you, as a little girl, when I promised myself I would never talk about it, I'm glad that I am, because it has been healing for me. And I know that so many others out there are struggling too in their silence. And it's just so freeing when you let go, fully let go.
What was that moment when God said, it's time?
It was scary. I fought God, actually. For weeks, I argued with God, and I told him there's no way, because I've kept this secret quiet for my whole life since it had happened, that the thought of it at that time seemed too big for me. And I wasn't even sure, how do I even start? How do I even tell this story, and who do I tell first? And so it was terrifying, and I fought God. And I don't know about you, but when it's God, it doesn't leave you. And for years, I was able to bury that and forget about it, become numb to it, and it would surface, it would sting, and I'd bury it again. It was a cycle over and over. But this time it wouldn't leave me, and I knew it was God. And so I was like, God, you've got to help me out because this doesn't make sense, but I trust you.
When you wrote the song, you'd already forgiven your abuser. Mm-hmm. Did they know that you were going to write this song? Or?
Yeah. I told this person when I called initially, I told them where I was at in life and that I had to write a song about it. And then that's whenever I forgave them as well.
Were they scared that they were going to be named? And
I think so. I think that's why they reached back out to kind of deny it all. And at that time, you know, I'd fully forgiven. I didn't need an apology, right? And I think sometimes people, they see forgiveness as weakness, right? Or it doesn't make sense. They may think that, oh, it's going to excuse the wrong done, but it doesn't. It doesn't excuse the wrong done. You know, what was done was wrong, but forgiveness allowed me to walk freely, to be able to go and share this song and to be fully set free. And it was just so freeing for me.
So you've written some other powerful songs. We're going to talk about those in the next few minutes, but God has really opened your heart with your music. Yeah. Do you write all your songs?
Yes, and I'm so thankful for the songwriters too that come alongside me and make these songs what they are.
They're all personal stories, right?
Yes.
What is one song that you can think of that is a personal song that you've written?
Besides Taking My Voice Back?
Yes.
I actually do have a song called Wait and See that's talking about, you know, young Brooke, and if I had to go back in time and talk to her. Also have a song that I wrote about my great-grandmother who passed away, who lived across the field, and because we're a big, huge family, you know, back in Louisiana. And so that's kind of, I write based off of just life experiences, and I don't know, just feels like home.
What was the song for your grandmother?
It's called See You Here, and it's talking about just the visits that I had with her before Sunday morning, you know, going to swing on her swing and drink coffee together, and just the memories that I had of her.
Well, we're going to talk more about your faith. A song that you wrote that I just absolutely love called Hey God. I think a lot of people can relate to it, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. Brooke, your songs are so personal. You know, Taking My Voice Back. Have you heard from other girls?
I think the most rewarding thing the Lord has shown me, especially when we released this song in 2020, it felt like a gut punch because I had shared my deepest secret with the world and the whole world shut down. And so throughout that time, the Lord was really showing me, Brooke, it's not about the song, it's about the testimony and the ministry behind it. And he was teaching me throughout that year of truly what it was going to look like. And when the shutdowns happened, the messages flooded in. The people, the girls, even the guys that needed to hear this story, that they weren't alone and that freedom and healing was possible. And I think the most favorite thing for me is going out, sharing these songs in person, getting to meet people. And I can remember this one time, this one girl, actually there's so many different times, but a couple times, this one girl came up to me after the show and she said, today I'm gonna tell my mom that I was abused and I never told anybody. And I'm like, that's why I'm doing this. It's not to play an instrument or to sing a song. Like, that's why. And even like recently, a couple weekends ago, I had someone come up to me and say, today I'm gonna forgive my father and another person that abused me. And the pastor had actually walked in that next morning and sent me a picture of a note. This lady wrote down, I forgive, and wrote down the names of the people who've done her wrong and left it at the altar. That right there is just my why. It's why I do it. It's so much deeper for me.
So now you're touring. Are you still doing the videos online and people can?
Yeah, I still try to stay as active as possible. I'll do like worship covers and then I'm finally like able to share some new stuff that's coming out. It's been 4 years since I've released anything original. And so yeah, I'm trying to stay as active as possible on social media this day and age.
Tell me about your song, Hey God.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Thank you. It's one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hey God. So it's how I start my prayers. I'm just like, hey God. And I start praying because he's just so personal. He's right there, right? I actually wrote this song in 2021, a year before like I would need it or my family. And I just believe like God, he's just a God of order. He has everything figured out. And before I even knew it, I was writing a song that I would need later on. And so it's actually a song that in 2022 would come to mind whenever my aunt, who was like a spiritual mom to me, had a sudden brain bleed. And it was 6 months of just ups and downs of hope to doctors saying there's nothing else that we can do, finding out that it's brain cancer. And throughout that time, like I believed for a miracle. I knew God is gonna heal her. We dreamed of doing ministry together. She loved women's ministry and young women. And she would always talk, Brooke, I'll go and preach and you can sing, you know? And so we always dreamed of doing that together. And the thought of that not happening just didn't seem right. So I was like, truly, this is just gonna be a part of her testimony. And so it rolled around to that next year and it was just getting worse and worse. And I was still praying and believing like, God, you're gonna heal her, you're gonna heal her. And 3/16 of last year, she went to be with Jesus. And I just thought that was a little God wink because, right, John 3:16. And so I was like, that's the hope that I get to have, but it didn't take the grief away. I was hurting and I struggled for a really long time with grief. And I think that's something that we all have dealt with or will eventually deal with. And so naturally, my flesh wanted to pull away from God, right? We sometimes become angry at God in situations like that when he doesn't answer prayers the way that we want him to. And so when I did that, he reminded me of all these memories that I had of her when she was sick, where she didn't stop talking to God. And she couldn't form a sentence correctly because she had just symptoms of stroke. But she would always talk about Jesus. And it was always clear, crystal clear. And I was like, you know, that's so true. She didn't pull away from God in her hardest moments. So why should I? You know, and so I even think of the verse in Psalm 116:2 where it says, because he inclines his ear to me, therefore I will call upon him for as long as I live. And I just picture like I had this image of him like leaning in, like, what does my daughter have to say to me today? And it's like, he's that personal where he wants to know, what is she saying? It could be anger, it can be frustration, it can, whatever feelings that we have, we can still bring that to the feet of Jesus. And that's something that I needed to be reminded of. And so this song is just that, saying like, I sometimes don't know what to say. I sometimes don't know what to pray. And maybe sometimes we feel bad for bringing our true feelings to the Lord, but he wants all of it. Nothing scares him. Nothing turns him away from us because he loves us. So that's my heart behind it.
I love that. Will you play a little bit of it for me?
Yeah. Hey God, I don't have the perfect words to say, but I know it doesn't matter if my words are beautiful or barely put together. You still want to hear me pray, even if all I have to say is hey God.
I love that.
Thank you.
Everybody has to hear that song because I think so many times we don't know what to say to the Lord.
Yeah.
We're living in challenging times.
We are.
So what would you say to somebody out there that's listening to you now to encourage them, to everything that they're going through?
Just walking with the Lord over these past even 4 years, it's been showing me the importance of just coming to his feet and sitting with him. And just recently, I felt like he's highlighted the verse where the sinful woman walks into the house where Jesus is at, you know, with the Pharisees. And she comes and she sits at his feet and anoints his feet with oil. And the Pharisees are like, why would you let a sinful woman come in? And Jesus not once pointed out her flaws, but he acknowledged that she was at his feet. And that's all that mattered. And he said, your sins are forgiven. And so I just want that to be an encouragement for anyone that you're never too far gone. The things that you've gone through are never too big for the Lord, and that our shame, our fears, our doubts, everything that we've ever gone through, all you have to do is just come and sit at his feet and be with him. That's all he wants. It's that simple.
Oh, Brooke, what's next for you?
What's next is just releasing new music, writing a lot, and shows whenever I get shows, so I don't know, just gonna continue to do what he wants, and sometimes I don't know what that looks like, and that's the best sometimes
Would
too.
it be at BrookeRobertson.com?
So it's BrookeRobertsonMusic.com.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I have everything there.
Oh.
All the social medias, the videos.
All right, we'll be watching.
Thank
and
you
listening.
so much. Yes.
Brooke, thank you. God is just using you in a mighty way, and you're gonna touch so many people.
Thank you for this opportunity.
God bless you.
Yes, God bless.
My friend, are you struggling with grief today? Just like Brooke said, if you don't know what to say, just say, hey God, He's waiting for you and He's listening to you. This is today's Nashville. This is Faith.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.